The Runaway Mine Train. It was the end of their shift, and the boys who worked the mines watched the coal train as the captain pulled away from the shuttle after the cars had been loaded with ore. He blew the whistle and rang the bell as the boys ran to catch hold of the last car on the train for the ride down the mountain into the valley. Below, on the tracks of the Great Southern Railway, a long train waited with empty cars for the coal to be loaded into. The boys' fingers held tight to the handrail of the last car as the little train picked up speed and rounded the bend. Down below, the lights of the houses in the valley were just beginning to twinkle in the twilight as steam belched from the stack on the engine. The train screeched its brakes as it headed into the sharpest curve of the descent, and one by one, the boys noticed that the train was moving too fast. They peered at one another as trees zizzed by and the wind took their voices from their throats. The train moved faster and faster, and it was all too clear that the brakes had failed. Sparks flew from the wheels, and one boy cried for them to jump. They bailed off into the sagebrush and brambles along the edge of the tracks, rolling to a halt on back and knee, as the whistle blew 3 times in a signal of distress. And in the twilight they could see the captain at the front of the train, frantically waving his lantern to and fro. Down on the tracks, the great Southern engineer saw the impending danger of the oncoming coal train too late. He ran for safety. The coal train crashed into the side of an empty boxcar and flew off into the air like a toy. The boiler exploded, sending shards of metal and ore high into the air. As the boys raced off the hill toward the raging fire, it was clear that the captain had been lost, and there was nothing anyone could do to save him. They removed their dirty caps and bowed their heads. Soon the coal mines closed, and the tracks that ran up the mountain became overgrown with weeds and grass. The wreckage from that fateful evening's crash lay rusting in the train yard, and the captain slept on Cemetery Hill. But about dusk in the valley, if the wind is right, you can still hear the little train's whistle and the screech of those brakes along the abandoned tracks. And as twilight falls, you can see the captain still waving his lantern in warning of a runaway mine train.